Hi there, we're talking about the welcome team at Westville Methodist today. I remember the first time that I attended a church service in the church in Maritzburg, which would later become my home. I was probably 15 years old. I'd been to a couple of teen church meetings at the church, but that morning there was no teen church. So I nervously made my way into the service. And there was a moment in the service where the minister invited people to greet each other, passing the peace or something like that. And I mostly looked at my feet and I felt like an idiot. But then I noticed a man walking in my direction from the far side of the building. He came right over to me, he introduced himself, and he helped me to feel relaxed. He didn't have to do that. He wasn't a leader, he wasn't in charge or anything. He just noticed me and he came over. He saw that I was feeling awkward and he went out of his way to make me feel welcome. And that was 35 years ago, but I still remember his name, I still remember his face. Many people will say that the most significant roles in a Sunday service are the upfront roles, the preacher, the musicians, and so on. I think when it comes to people deciding if they will connect with a church, or for that matter, if they will ever attend another service in a particular church, the person with the most influence on that decision is often the first person who greets them at the door, the person who goes out of their way to make them feel welcome and to be friendly to them. So if you serve on the welcome team here at Westville Methodist, there are some practical and logistical details for you to be aware of, and we'll talk about those in a minute. But the most important contribution that you can make is to help people feel at home. In a very real sense, when you are serving in this way, you are like a host welcoming people into your home. People who have come to share a meal with you maybe. And that means that your primary focus in doing this work is on the comfort and the well-being of the visitor. The other details are important, but they're ultimately secondary. So, in addition to that, being the host, what are some of the other things that you need to be aware of as a member of the welcome team? First thing is to aim to get to the service early. Ideally, no later than sort of 15 or 20 minutes before the service. There won't be a lot of people around at that stage, but there are some people who will come very early. And often people who are new to a church will come particularly early to make sure they find the place and they get to the right spot. You'll have a chance to talk with people that early before the service because it's quieter, it's not quite as chaotic. So it's important to be there a bit early. And then one of the ways that we're trying to build community at Westville Methodist is by learning names. And we offer a name tag to everyone who comes to a service. We think it helps people to feel at home more quickly. But also, in dealing with name tags, please recognize that not everybody wants to wear one. For some people, it feels like going to school, or it feels a bit invasive. So it's absolutely fine if somebody chooses not to take one. Don't be too pushy. If a person is new, there is a little blank name tag that they can take. They write their name on the front, their phone number, and their address on the back. Then the name tag is folded in half and put in the little plastic holder that comes with it, so that their name is visible on the outside. The other details are folded around the back and not visible to everybody else. After the service, they take their name tag, they put it in one of those wooden boxes for collection, and by the next Sunday there will be a printed name tag waiting for them. Little cupboards where the name tags are stored. Again, if people don't want to give a phone number and an email address, that's fine. Those are the details that go on the back of the name tag. But the focus is on their feeling welcome and not harassed, so don't push it too hard. The reason we ask for those details is so that we can follow up with them, not so that we can pester them with spam or anything like that, but we send them a welcome email, and it's nice to be able to stay in touch, especially if they want to stay connected with us. But again, don't be too pushy. So we value learning people's names, and you should challenge yourself to learn as many names as you can when you're in the welcome team. Make a point of looking at the name tags of people as they come and try to use their names when you greet them. Your focus may be especially on spotting new faces on a Sunday, but be aware that regulars need to feel welcome and seen too. I like to talk about that old TV series called Cheers, and there was a guy, he was a postman, I think. No, he wasn't a postman. Not sure what he did, but his name was Norm. And every time he came into the bar, the whole bar would erupt and shout, "Norm, we see you." and he was a big deal in that place. He was important. He mattered. And when we can greet people by name, whether they are new or whether they are long-standing members of our community, it communicates acceptance and worth. It's a wonderful thing to be able to do. So it's a gift that you offer people. When you greet people at the door, especially newcomers, and remember that you're trying to be helpful and to put them at ease, you may want to say to them, is there anything I can help you with? Any questions you may have, any information that you may need? And when people do ask you questions, we have a little collection of pamphlets that they can take with them, designed to answer most of the questions, most common questions that are asked. How to get involved, details about small groups, about plan giving, general details about the church. If you find you're being asked questions that we don't have a pamphlet for, let us know. We'll make another one. The idea is to cover the bulk of those questions, and you can get familiar with the pamphlet. You might be able to point them in the right direction, but it's nice to be able to say, here's the answer to your questions, and give me a shout if there's anything else I can help you with. Next, when you arrive and you're on duty, please sit at the back of the church. There's a pew right in the back, against the back wall, and be there through the service. Many of our people arrive late. I think especially at the 9 o'clock service, people are still arriving 20 minutes into the service, and there may be newcomers who come then. It's not great if they arrive, even if they've come late, and they should have come on time, but they come late and there's no one to greet them at all. So you want to be available at the back there. You can sit in the back pew and participate in the service, but be aware that if people arrive, you're going to bounce to your feet and help them to feel at home and not to feel silly for having arrived in the middle of the service. It's important that there is warmth and hospitality even for the latecomers. And then last, after the 9 a.m. service and before the 7:30 and the 6:30 p.m. services, we invite people to join us for tea. And so make a point of inviting newcomers to come and join us. At the 9 a.m. service, as people are leaving, you may even want to catch somebody that you met before, especially if they were new, offer to join them for tea. Maybe you can introduce them to some other people. It's all about helping to make them feel comfortable. So I want to end by saying how vitally important this ministry is. It literally can change the course of someone's life. Really, I'm not exaggerating. Your warmth and your interest may help them to connect, may lead to someone encountering God in a deeper way, forming new friendships, identifying new callings. It's a critical moment. You may just be the gift that God will use to change their life. Thank you for being available to serve in this way. May God bless you as He uses you in this vital work. Thank you.